Now, Jedd Fisch. Jedd Fisch. Jedd Fisch, when he left, he was telling anybody that would listen behind the scenes that he was going to basically take whoever he wanted, that this was, he was going to get who he wanted, especially on the offensive line. I love the Seattle or the some of the Washington mods that were saying that, we thought we would get multiple linemen. Now he's saying, well, I don't really know the situation. That means that Jedd Fisch fibbed you, or people on the Jedd Fisch staff fibbed you. Listen, Jedd Fisch got a starting running back and a DB out of it. Cool. The core stayed. I say,
Jedd, from what I understand, and this has been confirmed by multiple people, told people around Washington, et cetera, he thought he could get 12 to 18 starters from Arizona. He got what? He got Brysock and Coleman, right?
Those are the two guys that will start at Washington next year. That's
Isaiah Ward. Well, no, I mean starters in general, and Isaiah Ward. So we got 3 starters from Arizona, right?
Right. That's it. Okay, cool. Awesome. Cool. That is not what he thought. And I very much like perusing some Washington message boards where they're putting out things to the extent of, well, what's your over under on how many players are going to come to Washington in the next week or so? But this is obviously super, super good news. I don't care that, Michael Watkins is there. Some guy on Twitter was trying to say, oh, you lost Michael Watkins. I do not care about that.
The only freshman you really care about is probably Damon Williams. And at the end of the day, Arizona has Fifita for 2 years. So
I'm cool with it.
Yeah, you're cool with it.
Yes, but there is no way that Jedd thought that this was all he was going to get. There is no way whatsoever.
No way.
Especially with the way that he sold things. And I can't tell you how many Washington fans were going at me saying, oh, yeah, T-Mac's going to look good in purple next year. Or what was another one? Oh, yeah.
Look at I don't talk negatively about 24/7 publishers at all, ever. But it was clear that it was clear that the 24/7 site was getting their information from people close to the program, and they were saying we're going to get at one point they said, what's the over under on starting linemen we get from Arizona? Let's set it at 2.5.
Yeah.
And that was coming from Jedd. And it wasn't coming from Jedd, it was coming from someone close to him. That was their mindset, and they failed miserably.
And you know what else we got to give credit to? Arizona fought back on this one, because I know how these things work. I think that tweet by Tom Duddleston actually, now I know Dud's not on Twitter a lot. By the way, Dud liked my smelly, rainy Seattle tweet yesterday.
Wow.
But yeah. But I think that things like that, when you have a guy who is the U of A SID for the longest time, he doesn't really go on Twitter a ton, doesn't say a ton. But when he put out that tweet about the tampering and keeping your grimy mitts off of the U of A roster until they're in the portal, I think that took them aback a little bit. Javier Morales put something out as well. U of A fought back through other situations, and Sheer, I think they did very, very good work. We were very happy, because I think in this day and age, I hate the mindset where somebody says, oh, when they go low, we go high. No, when they go low, we go low. This is a fish eat fish world.
No, I mean, Arizona didn't go low, the coaching staff. I think that I think that the media, in a way, got tired of it, right? Yeah. People ask why, the Arizona media is a little unique, and the reason why is it's not the biggest, city, town, whatever. But I think the thing is, Jedd lied to us too, right? Jedd lied right to our faces, and it's not that he left. No one's mad that he left. It's how he left. It's the lying. It's the, you tell me 2 days before in a text message you love Arizona. It's stuff like that. And then,
let's tell another one. I got another one that's a really good one for you, and I think this is a perfect example, because I do not care. The gloves are off. Boom, they are off. They have been thrown into the cabinet. All right. I told you that through a guy who would clearly know that Johnny Nansen was leaving, and you messaged Jedd, and he said something to the effect of, first I've heard of it, not true. Johnny Nansen was gone within 24 hours.
He got mad at me because I wrote the article.
He got mad at you. Exactly. And the person that told me this writes their checks. He would he would know.
Well, yeah, and like Texas was like, yeah, we know for a fact he's like the top guy. And so I wrote the article, and she's like, I don't know why you would write that. It's like, because it's my job.
Right. And exactly. He got upset about it. It was very, very funny. But then when Jedd can't fight back, Jedd brings his agent into other stuff. All right. But this is very, very good. And I can tell you for a fact, Johnny Nansen, Dwayne Aquina, not fans of Jedd Fisch, not fans of Jedd Fisch. I feel very comfortable in telling you telling you all of that. This is very, very good, though. Sometimes karma comes back. He thought that when he was signing that little contract and, watch this as I pillage your entire roster. Then he goes off to the stinky part of the Northwest, and he doesn't bring hardly anybody with him. It was very good.
You know what's also interesting to me is forgetting Arizona, their portal efforts overall have not been good.
Right.
Like they're not landing major names out of the portal. I think what Jedd's going to find is that when you're competing with the big boys, Washington is no better than those schools.
They're not. Plus, you got to go live in Seattle.
Yeah, like your pitch is different when you're competing against Alabama, Michigan, and in Ohio State and those schools. This isn't Arizona anymore. You could actually sell. I don't want to say it's easier to sell, but you're going after a different type of player.
Mm-hmm. By the way, you can go outside. You can go outside 7 days out of the week. By the way, I'm not going to name who they are, but you know who they are. I had multiple national media people DM me saying, "Listen, man," we said, that you're a little bit of an interesting dude. He said, "But this smelly, rainy Seattle thing is one of the funniest things I've seen on Twitter this year." And somebody from the U of A told me it as well. The movement is catching traction, and we will continue this movement. But also, look at the spring game for Washington, spring game for Arizona. Guess what? We were able to go outside. I was able to take my lovely date. Sheer was able to go there and sit next to Brian Peterson. And guess what? It was good football weather. Did you see the weather for the next 5 days in Washington for the
smelly and rainy? Smelly and rainy. They put smelly in the weather report now.
That is the way it is. That is the way it is. Sometimes karma just comes back at you. This is one of those opportunities. And again, we got to give this U of A team a ton of shout out for the character that these guys have. And Tacario Davis did this the right way. I am telling you, I totally agree with you. I have no problem with the kid leaves. Like, let's use Deuce Davis, for example. I'm bummed that Deuce left. I like Deuce. I hope Deuce does well, and I hope Washington loses every game. But guess what? They entered the portal. They left. They didn't say anything. Cool. Kind of the same thing with Jonah Coleman, although he did get one of those tomahawk things before he left. So, but either way, Prysock, thought that was really, really crummy. And Jedd, really crummy as well. That's where we're at.
Yeah, the only people I've had an issue, I think Prysock with the T-shirt thing was stupid, and I think Jordan Washington.
I don't like that either.
By the way, can I say this now?
Yeah, of course.
I don't know if I could say this. I might get in trouble, but who really cares? Remember I told you guys the story of the player that was in a coach's office and got a call from Jedd?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Jordan Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't surprise me
It works. It works.
Doesn't surprise me in the least. But again, that's why, like I said, it was kind of a line in the sand when Dud put that tweet out for me, because Dud is not putting that tweet out unless he is 1,000% sure of what he is saying. Dud's an old school guy like that. By the way, Super Snap's coming in. Sorry, I was remiss on a Super Snap. Jason, Mike's mod powers equals inmate running the asylum.
I'm very proud of Mike. We're not going to get into what the thread was about, but Mike, I read that thread after you called me, and you did a great job locking it up. I was very surprised.
So excited. Very, very excited with that. So again, I will continue to do good work. Also, Gringo Billy, my guy, made Jedd eat rancid applesauce as opposed to this fresh apple, which will be consumed later on in the show. But either way, this is good. Also, the one thing that I think that Jedd is totally shocked by, honestly, is that he didn't get any of the linemen. I think that he thought he was going to get Moy, he was going to get Polito, that maybe not Jonah, but I'm pretty sure that he thought he had a chance at Jonah. He got none of them.
I got to say, Polito to me is surprising.
Very surprising.
Nothing against the kid or whatever, but they love Brendan Carroll. They took a visit to Washington, and he came back, and he stuck with the coaching staff. And I guarantee you, Carol and Jedd thought they had Pulido in the bag.
I got to give the kid a lot of credit here, because there were a lot of forces that I think would have preferred Washington, but I got to give Pulido a lot of credit on this now. But again, just a great day. I'll be honest with you. I don't know what I was more excited by, the Tacario Davis coming back or thinking about Jedd Fisch. And I get people are like, oh, you're petty. Move on from the Jedd Fisch era. I will not move on from the Jedd Fisch era.
Petty. You're absolutely petty.
We absolutely, dude, that's okay to embrace pettiness at some point.
Well,
This is one of those things. And especially too, this is okay to say as well. The reason that I let it go for a while, but when you're also telling people a bunch of fibs about your contract extension and whatnot, and about why you left to Washington so that you could help out your staff, I know the dude that was in charge of all of that, and it was all nonsense. I'm very protective of this person to this day. I will take no slander, and it was all crap. It was all nonsense. And this whole thing about your promissory rights or whatever that was, I think Brian Peterson put it out really well when he said something to the effect of, no, that's not how it works, dude. You either have the money or you don't. You don't have to get 70% of alumni to sign off on something. That is not how this works. Brian Peterson did very good work on this.
I think the moral of the story is you mess with Dave, you mess with Mike. That's it. Whether it's secret, whether it's public, if you mess with Dave,
yes,
you mess with Michael Luke.
You mess with me. This is a very serious issue. But joking aside, actually not joking aside.
No, I'm serious.
Definitely not joking aside. But everything he was saying was garbage. So I took that the wrong way. To quote, what was it? Michael Jordan, when he was making up stories about other players. I took it personally. So I will, that's where I will leave it at that. We take all comers. We take all fades.